I am wearing some cat ears because I feel a little extra today. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be bringing you a video I think needs to be done. I tried to search YouTube for some videos like this and I couldn't find very many. I only found a couple that were actually really helpful. So I wanted to basically go over a book rating system. I kind of have just rated books kind of whatever. I really haven't had like an actual system, but I finally am able to like put like a description to each rating. I found what I was doing a lot was I was comparing a book that I read to the previous book that I read and rating it that way if I liked it better or not, and that's really not fair. Sometimes I will, like if I read like thrillers, like if I read 2 thrillers back to back, I will find myself comparing it. Like I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as the one that I just read, so I kind of look at what I rated the previous book and then go from there, which I don't know, that's okay, but I don't feel like that's very fair either. So anyways, I wanted to just share kind of my revamped rating style. I don't think I'm gonna go back and like re-rate books because I don't know, I don't really remember, you know, why I rated it certain ways or whatever. There's just details I don't remember, so I feel like that's not fair unless I go back and reread the book. So if I reread the book, I will re-rate it. I want to go over what the different ratings mean. And I did recently watch a video, which if I can find the original video, I will try to link it down below. But basically it's talking about how a 3-star rating is not a bad rating. That's still more than 50%. That's not a bad rating. It's just kind of a middle of the road. And that's how I rate it too. I have a lot of 3-star books. I have a ton of 4-star books, which 2019 is going to be definitely a 4-star type of year, apparently, because I've had a lot of 4-star books. So here is the way I'm defining ratings. So if I give a book 5 stars, that means I loved it. Absolutely loved it. One of my favorite books. It made me cry. It made me laugh. Like it just pulled out emotions. I loved the characters. I loved the plot. I loved the writing style. Everything. 5 stars is like everything. There are some books that I love and like have those elements, but I only rated 4.5 stars because maybe there was like one character that I didn't feel like they had a very good storyline or it wasn't developed, or maybe I loved everything about it except the writing was a little off, but I really liked the story. So in that case, I would give it like 4.5 stars. Some examples of some 5-star books. My absolute favorite book, the book that I've been recommending to people for over a year, is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. My friend recommended this book to me and I don't know why I waited so long to read it. It is amazing. It is still one of my favorite books and it's been 1.5 years since I've read it. And I'm actually gonna go back and reread it next month for a group read, so I'm pretty excited. It is historical fiction. I think I held off on this because I didn't realized that I liked historical fiction. Like I didn't think I would, and then I read this one and then I was like, give me all the historical fiction. So this book made me cry. It just really pulled at my emotions and I can't stop thinking about it. So it is definitely a 5-star read for me. And then using Goodreads, some other 5-star reads. I love The Women's Murder Club by James Patterson. There are like 17 books out right now and all of those books either get a 4 or a 5-star for me. I like all of them, but there are just some that I just really like more, so that's how I determine between 4 and 5 stars on those books. Another one, Colleen Hoover, It Ends With Us, that was a 5-star read for me. All the Harry Potter books are 5-star reads for me. I'm trying to think what else. The Girl on the Train, I would have to probably read that one again, and I have a feeling that I might rate it 4 stars because when I read it, I was like kind of like new back into reading and it was good, but I read so many great books since then, so I don't know. I don't know if I would still rate it 5 stars or not, so that would be really interesting to see. A Court of Thorns and Roses, that series all got 4 to 5 stars for me. My favorite book was A Court of Mist and Fury, book number 2, and that definitely got 5 stars. I couldn't put it down. I flew through it. It was like 600 and some pages, but oh my gosh, like I loved it. Just recently I read A Curse So Dark and Lonely and I love that book. It has like all the A Court of Thorns and Roses feels for me, and it's like a retelling and it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and that's just my favorite. I gave that one 5 stars. I loved it. So just those are kind of examples of my 5-star books. Oh, I also want to mention Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Fangirl, I originally put 4.5 stars and then I changed it to 5 because I could not stop thinking about that book. I relate to the characters so much. I pulled dozens of quotes out of that book because it's like, oh my gosh, did Rainbow Rowell pull that from my mind? So yeah, that was definitely a 5-star for me. If it's a book, like when people ask me like, what do you recommend? First, I like to know what kind of genre they like, but I usually always recommend a couple of my favorite 5-star reads. Okay, so the next rating is 4 stars. Like I said, I most commonly rate books at 4 stars. 4 stars is I liked it. So 5 stars, love it, 4 stars, liked it. So this is a very good rating still. It's a book I thoroughly enjoyed, but it's not, it either didn't pull that emotion from me, or maybe there was one element that I didn't like. I love the plot, didn't love the writing style, or I liked the writing, I liked the plot, but maybe the characters were lacking, or the story, the world building was lacking, or something like that. So 4 stars is still good. 4 stars is I did. I really liked it. I would still recommend this book. So some examples of some 4-star books. I read The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. That was a 4-star for me. It was really good, but again, it's not like my favorite. The Wife Between Us, I read that recently. That was a 4-star read for me. A lot of Sophie Kinsella books I rated 4 stars. I read Remember Me. I love her books. They're just like a good, like feel-good, light read. And a lot of those, it's not like anything like spectacular as far as like something, oh my god, I would reread it. But they're just, I like them. They're just good, fun, lighthearted books. So those are all 4-star reads for me. A lot of Nicholas Sparks books are 4-star reads. I do have problems with some of his books. I know he's kind of a formula writer, and his books all kind of have the same type of flow to them, if you want to say that, but I do like them. I enjoy them, so they are 4-star reads. I read Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. That was also a 4-star read for me. Like I said, I liked it, but there was just a couple issues that I had, some questions I had that I felt unfinished with the book, so it wasn't enough to give it a 5-star read. All the Twilight books are 4-star reads for me. I liked them, but I didn't love them. But there's something about Twilight that it's just, I was part of that. I was on the older end of it, but I was part of that generation when it came out, and it's just something will always make me gravitate towards Twilight. And then they put out the movies and they totally ruined it. But yeah, I like the books. Not my favorite, but I did like them. The Perfect Couple by Ellen Hilderbrand. I just read that last year and it really surprised me. That one I actually gave 4.5 stars. So I only had like a little bit of an issue with a couple things that happened in it, the way it unfolded, mostly the ending. And a lot of books are like that. I am like 5 stars the whole way through, and it's like something happens in the end and I'm like, meh, and so I just take off like a 1/2 star because I don't feel like it's like the ending is worth a whole star. I don't know, it just kind of depends. But yeah, lots of books like that. Another Kristen Hanna book, The Great Alone, I gave that one 4 stars. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as The Nightingale. So for me, I felt like I was comparing the two. There were some issues that I had with The Great Alone that I didn't feel with The Nightingale. Like, I still love her writing style, but there was some stuff in that book. So I only gave it 4 stars. Another book that I gave 4 stars is The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I've thought about going back and changing this one to 4.5 or 5. Probably 4.5, because when I finished it, I was like, oh my gosh, that was a really good book, but I find myself thinking about it often, like, and this book just breaks my heart. I think I rated it 4 stars just because of the writing style, because it's letters, and I'm really weird with writing styles, or like formats, book formats. So like letters, or, you know, just weird formats kind of turns me off. But this one I surprisingly really liked. So, and I watched the movie, and I think that made me like it even more. Like, they picked the best actors for this for these roles. So I don't know, but right now it's a 4 star. It's really short. I might go back and reread it. And I think this book is one of those that there's a lot of things I'm gonna pick up the second time through. Okay, and then this brings me to my next one. This is where the books start going down just a little bit. 3 stars means it was okay. So I didn't love it. I didn't necessarily like it, but I didn't dislike it. These are just kind of like, meh, it was okay. I do rate books 3.5 stars often, it feels like, because it's kind of like, I liked it, but not as much as I've liked other books, if that makes sense. But I feel like it deserved more than an okay. So books, let me see if I have had any this year. I'm sure I have had some 3 stars this year. So, okay, so the book, The Last Time I Lied, I read that. It was very highly recommended. A lot of people love it, and it's a mystery. I feel like I've read like a lot of mystery and thriller books so far this year, and I've liked them or loved them. So by the time I got to this book at the beginning of February, it was just okay for me. I didn't dislike it. I thought it was predictable, but I don't know. Like I said, I didn't hate it, so I gave it 3 stars. Another book that I gave 3 stars. Okay, so this one, it was highly anticipated. I read City of Bones. I've had this on my TBR forever. I've heard mixed reviews on this book, so I thought I was either gonna love it or hate it. Now, I started off loving the beginning. I was really drawn in. I don't know what happened, like a third of the way through the book, like my focus just dropped off. Like, I really didn't feel invested in the characters. I mean, I still liked it and I liked the way it ended, but it was overall just ended up being just okay for me. I'm still gonna continue the series. Like I said, 3 stars is not a bad rating. It's still over 50%. And I would still recommend this book because I still think that there are people out there that would really love it. My 3-star books, I kind of only recommend to people if I know what kind of books they like. So for somebody that's really maybe not into the fantasy type of books, I probably wouldn't recommend this because it's not my favorite fantasy. There's other fantasy books that I would recommend over this. But for somebody that really likes fantasy books and likes maybe like demons and werewolves and that kind of thing, I would probably recommend this for them. So like I said, 3 stars is not bad. It was just okay for me. All right, and that brings me to my next rating, and this is starting with the books that I don't recommend. So that is 2 stars, and 2 stars is I finished it, but I did not like it. I seldom rate books 2 stars. I mean, I guess I do if it's something that like I said, 2-star books I finish. I won't not finish a book and give it 2 stars. I don't feel like that's fair. I feel like I have to finish it all the way through and I have to say thoroughly I didn't like it. I haven't read any 2-star books or 1-star books for, well, I guess I technically have. But anyways, I haven't read any 2-star books yet this year, so that's good. I have DNF'd 1 book, and so basically, I guess a 1-star would be, usually when I DNF a book, I just like take it off my shelves. I don't even rate it because I don't want it counted towards my books read. But I DNF'd The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert, is it Galbraith? I don't know, I don't have it in front of me. But anyways, yeah, I just couldn't get into it. So for me, I guess I don't really rate books 1 star, but if I was going to, it'd be a book that I either didn't finish or I don't know, for some reason I finished it, but I absolutely hated it. Like worse than didn't like it, but absolutely despised it, which that's never happened to me. So I guess my 1 stars would be the books that I don't finish. So that's that. So anyways, I hope this was helpful to you guys. Just to recap, 5, I loved it. 4, I liked it. 3, it was okay. 2, I didn't like it, but I finished it. And 1, I couldn't finish it. Very simple. I do like half-star ratings, and so I will kind of sandwich books in between when I can't decide whether it was just okay or if I liked it. You know, if there's some books that deserve a little bit more than just okay, but not quite like, if that makes sense. So that's my simple way to rate books. I hope you guys found this helpful. Let me know down in the comments how you guys rate books. I would like to know. I've seen people that have like a whole like mathematical equation and like break it down. I tried that, it's just way too complicated for me. I just have to go on like emotion and feeling, like right when I'm done with the book. Simply, what did I think? So yeah, I would be curious to hear what you guys think about that. Let me know if this was helpful to you, and be sure to subscribe before you leave, and I will chat with you guys on the next video. I'll talk to you later. Bye.